What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It is time for a brand new video. We're in the international break. We're on our second one now. This is a perfect time to gauge you guys. Where do you guys feel we're going to be come the end of the season on current form so far? So we've got a few things to get into in terms of the games we've played so far, changes that you want to see going forward in order to maximize the best of this squad that we have. I'm interested to get your thoughts, people. Let's get into it. But before I do, as always, like the video, people. It's important to do, helps out the channel immensely. It's free to do, and it just helps with more visibility on this here platform called YouTube. Thank you to Wilf and Mr. P for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. Keep that support coming, and listen, big up to every single member of the channel. Thank you for that support. This doesn't go without you, gotta be honest. So thank you for doing that. And if you want to become a member of the channel, easy to do. The link's in the description, always on the YouTube page. What is good, Annabelle? What's good, Sean? Everything's good, man. We're gonna enjoy this 2-week break. Yeah, I'll miss club football for a bit, but it's always nice to get the first few days off. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Philippa saying big up, KG, big up to yourself. Chris in the house, good to see you, KG. Caught you on my way back from work. Hope you well. I'm really good, man. I'm really good. Evening to you, Jacob, as well. Hyru saying here, I think we can stay up depending on where we are come mid-late December and what deals can be done in January. We need more firepower to stay up. We're going to come back to that, Hyru. We're going to come back to that for sure. And what is good, Russ, man? Nice to see you in here. Well, look, game week 7 is done. Everybody has now played 7 games in the Premier League. And there were games yesterday that just rounded off the week. And we have a clearer idea of where we are. And look, there was a couple of results yesterday. Everton beating Palace, which was a very good one. But, you know, Everton, Jack Grealish, that's what you get there. Even though it was an unconventional kind of goal that he scored, you know, you're going to get that kind of quality in there. So Everton get the win. Again, I never thought Everton would be in trouble this season. So that's nothing really for us to worry about, essentially. The results where I do feel it has more direct correlation to us is Forest losing, Big Ange going 007, as the saying goes. Another one where he hasn't won a game, and there's big talks about his job. Will he last until Halloween? We will see with that one, but Forest do not look in good shape at all. At all. And you know me, people, I don't do the whole XG thing. I think, you know, chances are chances, but Newcastle were peppering Forest. And when you think of Forest under Nuno, that wasn't happening, people. And so Forest have got some decisions to make. Can Ange turn it round? We'll see. Wolves dagger last minute from Brighton for an equalizer, and you saw the Wolves fans were just they couldn't believe their eyes. You know, it was one of those where you're like, for you know the rest. You know, so Wolves still not without a win. Burnley losing, Villa now, who were below us for a while. I think they've won 4 on the bounce now. So, you know, Villa are going where we expected them to go. And then lastly, Brentford losing to Man City. And Brentford for the first half were atrocious, by the way. They came into it in the second half, but essentially they pick up no points. And that's kind of the theme of this video. Because now we see where we are come this second international break. We have 1 more to go. We finish in 15th place. And that's kind of where I thought we'd be around this time. So there's nothing out of the ordinary for me in terms of where we are now. The game states of the games we've played, could we have done better? Danny Farker's alluded to that, and a lot of you have alluded to that, but essentially you get what you're given in the Premier League. The results are the results. So will we stay above the bottom 3? And I look at the bottom 6 at the minute, and it looks kind of right to me. You know, does it look any different to what you may think it might do? Let me just scroll up a little bit for you for the teams that are just above. Obviously, you got Palace up in 6th place. Maybe they drop down to, I say, like 10th or 11th-ish. But everyone else, I feel, will be in and around where they are. Maybe Sunderland drop down to, say, 13th, 14th in the end. But again, Sunderland, for me, have proven that they've got some really good players in there. Granit Xhaka is he's just so good. And he's leading that club by example. Brighton, I feel like they'll just be okay, but I feel like the bottom 6, maybe 7, is where it probably will be come the end of the season. Ali here saying here, I thought Sunderland would be lower. David saying here, if we finish 15th, that will do for me the first season back. David, I would snap your hand off for 15th place. I would absolutely take it in terms of what we've got. And there's a few things of what we can discuss in terms of our results so far. And obviously, when we come to the third international break, I'm not going to do it because by then that's even more games to go through. But so far, you'd have to say, I think we're probably 2 points short in terms of the game slate. On paper, maybe we've got more than what we should be getting. But with the games, the way they've been played out, I think we're probably too short. You know, we beat Everton first game, brilliant result at the start of the season. Everton, you know, were just gelling in a couple of their players and everything else. But we played well on that day as well. So I'm not taking anything away. Our three midfield on the day, Stack, Tanaka, Ampadu were just immense all the way through. You then get the Arsenal game where it was just, that's where you got to learn a lesson from there. Cannot play out of the back against Arsenal, and we got severely punished for that. Arsenal don't usually beat teams 5-0. We are going to probably be one of the very few teams that they do that to. We were just giving them gifts all day. So we have that one. We get the cup game. We'll leave the cup game out of it because it is what it is with that. We get a 0-0 draw against Newcastle, which is a brilliant point. And you see what's happening with Newcastle now. You can't penetrate them. They're keeping clean sheet after clean sheet. They're starting to score goals. That is a very good point. And it was instrumental, Lucas Perry, in that one. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a chance in that game, but so did they. They had chances and also to win it. And then we get to these sets of games now. Fulham, last minute, you know, conceding that one, losing, you know, a point away from home, which would have been absolutely precious. We lose that one, don't take anything away from that one, but that just shows you the margins. And also in that game, you saw what Fulham did. They brought on Emile Smith-Rowe, they brought on Kevin, and we couldn't match that off the bench. We just didn't have anything for them. And Wolves, brilliant away win away from home. I think we went behind in that one, didn't we? We went behind in that Wolves game, but we come out with that one. Resiliency, we come out with a 3-1 win. Beautiful. We go into the Bournemouth game, and that's the one we should have won. And you look at Bournemouth, they're doing brilliantly. They won the last game, and that's how you get those points that you shouldn't be getting at this level. You even look at Ipswich last season, they beat Tottenham away. You know, so it's when they're not getting the points around them, why they don't stay up. But they, you know, they took points off those big six teams. We need to do that as well. We're going to have to do that at some point. But Bournemouth, that would have been such a good 3 points heading into the Spurs game. And then, of course, the Tottenham game yesterday, Saturday, I should say, we lost that one for me. And again, I maintain I don't think there's anything else Danny Farker could have done from a substitutes point of view, especially when we've got James out, we've got Nonto out. You're looking at Harrison as your first sub because of the squad, the way it is. All faults to the transfer window. We get that, but this is what we've got right now, people. Could he bring on Peru before Harrison? Sure, absolutely. But that game against Spurs, for me, that is just a loss where you're taught a valuable lesson that if you don't take your chances, you will get punished. So for me, that one isn't so much on Farker. It's on the players that were on the pitch that couldn't convert the numerous chances that we had against that Tottenham team. But now what we have going forward is the opportunity to try and get some points back. You know, we look at the next two games, Burnley and West Ham. Now, for me, if we have any chance of surviving, we've got to get, I would say, at least 4 points from these two games. And I'm being generous because I think we should be getting 6 with the way things are. If we're not looking at Burnley, whether it's home or away, for 3 points, we may as well just give up now. We may as well just stop now and say, you know what, man, it's been a nice year. We'll go down with our parachute payment. See you later. We've got to be targeting that one for 3 points, like Burnley will as well. West Ham, in the state they're in now, Nuno's going to get to work with them a bit more, but they're not in good shape right now. So at home at Ellen Road, this is where we got to be looking to pick up, you know, a maximum points here. So, yeah, I mean, he's been incredible, Graham. So what can we do differently in order to help the team? And this is where you guys come in, because I want to get your thoughts. And you guys have been putting in thoughts, like on the cool down video yesterday. And this is from Desiree. I'm going to go with that. At this level, you need to be more flexible. Daniel Farker has adapted with a 4-3-3, but in some games, the current personnel is more suited to a 4-4-2. DCL Peru up front. Like you said, Peru is more of a finisher than DCL, so have DCL provide from second balls, hold up, etc. Let Peru finish them from there. But we all know this manager is limited when it comes to thinking outside the box. Now, I only highlight that one because there was a variation of this kind of comment where we're talking about putting up 2 up front. And I can't, agree more. I literally, I've said it a few weeks ago. With the personnel that we have in this team, it's meat and potatoes. It's set up for high balls. It's set up for winning that second ball with runners around it. But we know what it's like in football. It's a copycat league. And until somebody successful goes back to a 4-4-2 system, we're never going to see it. But I think it would be highly beneficial for this team to go 4-4-2, but it's never going to happen. So it's like one of those things where people are talking about, changing the formation again and everything else like that. I kind of liken it to trying to get dribbles out of Longstaff or Aronson, successful dribbles, and taking on players and putting in a whip cross or something. I don't think they're capable of doing it. Alas, I don't think Daniel Farke is capable of doing that. I think he's already changed it a little bit in terms of the 4-3-3 instead of just the 4-2-3-1. Does that then go to, can he be more flexible than that? Can he give us two up front? Not just when we're losing against Tottenham and then we have DCL, Peru, Metro on the pitch. We saw that in the championship. Can we do that from the start and give teams something else to think about? Because for me, DCL up front, by the way, by himself isn't going to get enough goals. He just isn't. His conversion rate, I think I read somewhere that his conversion rate is around 10% or something. But whatever the percentage is, it's 1 goal in 5 games, which is not going to be good enough. And he has had opportunities to add to that, clear opportunities as well to add to that. So it is something for me where if we could just change the personnel a bit more and get in a 2 up front, I think it could work. I do. Michael here saying, I don't know if this is accurate, Michael, but I will put it up for you. You're usually good in the chat, so let's go. Shot to goal conversion rate so far: 118 shots. Leeds 5.9. Sunderland 102 shots, 6.9. Burnley 78 shots, 9%, and Spurs 113 shots, 11.5. Yeah, we've got to improve. We have to improve on that in terms of the conversion rate. We keep hearing it as well. Daniel Farke said in the last few games, even the Fulham game, that we're unlucky with this, unlucky with that. We deserve more. We should be getting more. But guys, there was a manager that used to get hammered for saying this a lot. And I mean, he got absolutely crucified for keep on having to say this when we weren't picking up the maximum points. And that was Jesse Marsh. He used to say the exact same things. Oh, we deserve more. It wasn't until after the Villa game, his final game, where he just gave up, and you could hear it in his voice. He was like, yeah, I don't know what else to do with these guys. I think it's done. You know what I mean? So it's all about performances have been fine. And I even put in against Tottenham, the performance should have you in good stead in future games, but you've got to improve that conversion rate. You have to. You've got to. It's off transfer market. Okay, cheers. Ian saying here, carrying too many passengers, Harrison. Yeah. And again, that goes back to the window and the reason why we've got. And I go back to Hyru as well, who talked about the window. I'm going to be obviously thinking about the window come December time, but I've got to say, I'm absolutely not terrified. That's a strong word, but I'm not excited about the January window. I'm really not. For me now, it's one of those things where trust is it. What is it? It's so hard to build, but so easy to break. And how great they were in the championship with the transfer windows. They were amazing. But the Premier League window has been so underwhelming. And with the links that we had in the last couple of days as well of the window, with it being James Hill, Harry Wilson, I just don't have any excitement for the January window. I really don't. So it's now up to the 49ers to try and get in those quality players that will make the difference. Can't just be Okafor and hope now. That's what it looks like it is at this point in time. But we've got to get more players like Okafor and better than that, by the way, in order for me to go, okay, I can see where we're going, because the direction of the transfer window was poor anyway. But then when you're hearing James Hill and Harry Wilson, I mean, what does that do, people? What does that do? Jacob, you see, this I think Jacob's half joking, but this is what I'm kind of expecting. It's this kind of player. And if I'm doing a video in December, I'm going to probably mention a Dwight McNeil. I'm thinking of other bread and butter players in the Premier League that will probably be available. I'm thinking those kind of guys. I really am. I'm not looking at players who I would love to sign. I did that all summer and I looked like an idiot after doing those videos. I think it is going to be guys like a McNeil, like these kind of players. I honestly do. Fundamental class saying here, we need someone who can finish. We should have gotten over the summer. Yeah, I mean, look, we know where we've gone wrong in many aspects of the window. You cannot just spend 60 million. That was on an attacking midfielder in Okafor and have the rest be free transfers. It's just poor. But the thing is, I don't blame people for keep on going on over this. Usually I'm somebody that says, all right, the window's closed, guys, enough. But I look at it the same way as you guys do. I really do. I look at it the same way and go, with 2 injuries to Dan James and Willie Nonto, our bench was absolutely horrendous against Tottenham. It was so poor. We had better benches probably in the championship. There's probably no probably about it. So I'm with you in terms of I cannot believe this is what we got to work with. But then it's about maximizing what we've got. And at this point in time, people, we're in the spot where I probably thought we would be around this time at this point of the season. But can we guarantee that Forest will stay where they are, especially if they do sack Ange? Can we guarantee West Ham will be where they will be now Nuno's in charge? It's unlikely. So how do we continue to keep the pressure on these guys? That's the question, isn't it? Let's have a look here. Ali here saying here, if we make it to January, even in 17th, I think it might be easy to make better signings. Also, the narrative was newly promoted teams will go back down. Signings know what they're joining now. Again, Ali, I'm sorry. Whenever people mention this, I will always go back to Sunderland. They signed Granit Xhaka. They signed Adingra from Brighton. They signed players that established Premier League teams would have loved to have signed. It's got nothing to do with newly promoted. I'm not going to go through this all again, but when you go up and someone's got a choice of different coaches or different places they want to go, we were looking like looking least attractive out of us in Sunderland, and that should never have been the case, but it was. So it's one of those now where if we're 17th, but will we target that kind of player? That's the thing for me as well, Ali. Are we going to target that kind of player at this point in time? My hope isn't there. It really isn't. But I hope, as always, they prove me wrong and say, you know what, you thought we were just going to go for Harry Wilson again. Here's a different kind of player for you. We've got him for this now. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But I'm not going to hold my breath. Jack saying here, Wolves are our only hope in terms of staying up. Jack, but it could be us and Wolves. It could be us and Wolves, couldn't it? Us, Wolves, and Burnley. That's not out the realm of possibility, is it? It's not. Annabelle saying here, so we get some players in January, but is our manager even going to play them or stubbornly stick with his favorites? Well, Annabelle, you move the conversation on nicely because this is the next bit, okay? Danny Farker, for me, in the last game, I knew it was going to be an unchanged team. Even though I would have put in Tanaka over Stack and Biol over Strauch, I knew he was going to not change the team. So I'm not going to put too much on him there. But going forward now, the next game against Burnley, I fully expect, barring injuries, that Biol comes in for Strauch and Tanaka gets a start again. If not, that's when it becomes a Daniel Farker issue for me. That's when, what could he have done better? Well, he could have taken out some players that are not completely informed, put in some players that can make a difference at this level, and he's refusing to do it again because of his favorites. That's for me where you start to look at the manager and go, if he's not going to change it after players are going out of form or playing themselves out of form while you've got players hungry to play, then of course you can always look at the manager then. And this is going to be a big test for him because it's going to take big decisions for him. We talk about going to a two up front being a big decision. That's not going to happen. Big decision for Daniel Farker, and we've seen it through his time here, is dropping players that he absolutely loves and trusts. He doesn't do it. You know, when a player's coming in with something to prove or not one of his trusted lieutenants, if they have one bad game, we don't see them again. We see them on the bench and that's it. But other players can play themselves, say, into form. Some of them don't even do that. Aronson last season did not play himself into form at all. He got worse as the season progressed. Even his running stats went down the drain. But other players can have that luxury. But he's got to understand at this level, we can't afford to do that, people. We cannot afford to do that. So is he going to change that? He's already made a few changes, tactical tweaks. Can he do that from the start, though? Is he going to be able to do it? We're going to find out for the Burnley game. And this is it, yeah. And Melier thing as well, which again, I have to clarify, was not his choice alone. And I can guarantee that. Vega here saying here, no more moral victories, please. Yeah, I mean, we've already kind of covered that, but absolutely, Vega. There's only so many times you can go, oh, yes, we outplayed Tottenham, but, you know, we come away with no points. So it's one of those things where I don't care if we're undeserving victors in games. Give me those points over, oh, we were really good, we were really plucky. I don't want to be that team where people go, oh, they're doing so well, they're really plucky, and if they continue like this, maybe they stay up. No, I want points on the board, people. That's what I want. So yeah, no moral victories, please. David saying here, if you play Biol, maybe no deflected goals. I think David's joking here. I think he's joking. But in terms of Strouk, though, the defending for both goals were just poor. He's backing up like he was at Carnival, said it before. He's got to be stronger. He's got to be a bit tighter to his runners, and he wasn't for both occasions. Yes, Goodmanson slipped for the second goal. Get that. But Strouk backing off. You cannot give Premier League players space like that. You just can't. And that's something that if Farke hasn't looked at and said, Yaka, our new, £17 million centre-back signing, you're coming in next to Rodon, that's when you do have to start looking at Daniel Farke and going, geez, can you just not make any changes to your trusted lieutenants? It's okay. Rotation is fine. It's all right. Chris here saying here, 1 win in our last 7 in all comps. Have to start turning good performances into points. Absolutely, Chris, 100%. No arguments from me there. But listen, in terms of the wins and everything else like that, we all knew it was going to be a grind. And that's why I put the question in the poll. And listen, if you're not involved in the live chat right now, the question is, let me see what the question is. If you thought we would be relegated after the transfer window closed, there's 3 options. Nothing has changed for you, or we have a chance to survive from what you've seen so far, or you could be, I thought we'd stay up, but not now. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments of where you think we are. So I'm asking the people in the live chat now, with what you've seen so far, do you think that with everything being equal, what you've seen in the Premier League so far, do you think that Leeds United can stay up this season? At this point in time, people, we're not at the 3rd international break yet. We haven't done the January window. But from what you've seen, are you encouraged with what you've seen so far, even with the drop points in the later games? So I'm very interested to know that. Me, I'll give you my answer. I'm still of the belief that we won't have enough at this point in time. I don't think that there's enough firepower in the team. And again, people, I know we've had different goal scorers. People keep saying to me, Cage, you ask who's going to score goals. Well, Longstaff scored it. No, that's not what I'm talking about. When I say where the goal's coming from, it's obvious we're going to score goals, people. But it's about in those clutch moments. It's about in the first few minutes against Bournemouth. Is DCL going to score that goal that will give us a 1-0 lead from the first minute? And where our game plan is completely different and Bournemouth are having to change. Are we going to get that goal against Fulham or keep those goals out against Fulham to come away from London with a point rather than no points? It's those kind of things. Jacob here saying here, I was convinced we would go down. Now we definitely have a good chance. There's still a lot of margin for us to go down. Okay, yeah, all right. Sam saying here, nothing has changed. Forest and Wolves haven't got going yet. Cat's promotion here. You're usually positive, but you're right in this one. Leeds solid defense is a myth. Yeah, we've got to go back as well to being solid defensively. We've let in a couple of goals in the last few games. Let me see. Yeah, we've let in 1 against Wolves, 2 against Bournemouth, 2 against Spurs. That's got to tighten up. And of course, there are avenues to do that. Of course, as well, a pretty obvious one for me. If Lucas Perry is fit after this break is done, he comes in as number 1. There's no discussion anymore. Maybe there was a discussion when Darlow came in for that first game and everyone was hyped up about Darlow for that one. But I think he's shown over the last couple of games, capable number 2, ideally number 3 for me. But if you're talking Lucas Perry, he has to come back in as the number 1, as your number 1 goalkeeper. And I think it is that simple. Michael saying here, yes, we're better defending. We aren't pretty, but effective in our areas of play. Yeah. That's what I mean. Listen, I will take an ugly season of staying up if it means there's going to be some beauty next year when we can sign players that I'm actually excited to see play. Because I said it in the cool down. I said, look, we had Longstaff, who was easily man of the match last week. I don't think there's much competition there. The problem is, you're having to get that out of Longstaff. He has to play above what he's capable of most weeks in order to get that out of him. Otherwise, you get the game that he had against Tottenham. Some good deliveries from set pieces, but in open play, he was very wasteful. Very, very wasteful. That's the problem that we have in this team right now. It's Okafor who is our main dribbler, our main guy who can give us a bit of X factor until Nanto's back. Otherwise, it's just hard work, graft, and everything else. And everybody has to perform at a 7 or 8 out of 10 every week in order for us to get points from games. It really is that simple as well. Russ saying here, encourage him, but think we'll fall short due to a lack of goals. David saying, bring on the ugly points. Bring them on, man. Bring them on. John saying here, we're not better than Forest or West Ham, so that leaves Wolves, Burnley, Brentford, and us. Yeah, I do think Forest with the personnel they have, even with Ange, I think they will at some point turn it around. But yeah, I get the feeling it's going to be the last teams you said as well. David saying here, if you want exciting players, Farker will not be in charge of them. That's a fair point, David. It's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, look, and the thing is, it's nothing against him, but he's shown it, hasn't he? You know, with telling off Georgie 2 times, you know, when Georgie was one of our key players, to not, you know, embarrass the opposition. And, you know, with Ramazani going out on loan in favor of Harrison, who is just not up to it. And there's no point talking about it, is there? It's a dead subject. We know Jack Harrison is not going to be up to it all season long. There will be 1 or 2 games where he will pop up with something just by proxy of him getting on the pitch, but God, it's just poor, isn't it? It's a workman-like team. We know that, but yeah. SB here saying Spurs had to get lucky to beat us, and without a £55 million player, they wouldn't have got anything. Okay. Okay, man. The thing is with transfer fees, I literally gave the example of Semenyo in the last video, who cost in a deal of up to 10 million. So it's not always about transfer fees, people. It's about the quality you've got in your squad. And you can get some good players for very cheap, but we just didn't do that. We didn't do that, did we? Nick saying, yeah, us and our defensive wingers. Yeah. Direct here saying Bjorn needs to start. Just mystifying you spend 15 million on a player and park him. Yeah, I mean, look. In terms of the games before the last couple, I understood it, and I think even Jakob Bjorn and his international manager agreed as well. He understood why Jakob was on the bench, because the defensive structure of Goodmanson, Bogle, Roden, and Strauch was working so well. So you don't change that, but there has to be a time where you can see it's not working. There's been a couple of iffy games from Strauch, and actually some poor ones, if we're being honest. Now it's time for Biol to come in. It has to, but we will see, won't we? We will see. Yeah, I mean, the whole luck thing, yeah, we were lucky against Everton, unlucky against Fulham. It goes around, doesn't it? But we've got to have a few of those. I said it in the match reaction, but you know, we need an own goal to go our way in order to pick up 3 points at some point this season. We need an undeserved last-minute equalizer going for us to pick up a point, an undeserved point. You know, it's got to work in our favor too. Otherwise, we start to slip down this table. Sam saying here, I take 17th on goal difference this year. I absolutely would as well. Absolutely. Sam here saying new manager and players in Jan. Well, I don't think we're going to get, maybe we get some new players, Sam, but when you listen to what Robbie Evans said in the, you know, in his whole thing, we spent to the maximum thing, which was a whole bunch of rubbish. I don't know if we're going to sign anyone, but will we let go of Daniel Farker, especially if it looks like we're going to get relegated? Because if we're going to get relegated, who better to bring us back up than Daniel Farker? I'm just being honest, because with the team that we do have, like I say, I'm not expecting the world from them. That's why I said in videos where we've won games, enjoy it. You know, you have people coming on saying, yeah, we beat Wolves, but why did we do this? I'm like, no, enjoy the victories, people, because we don't know how often we're going to get them this season. I hope we get them another 15 times. But let's be realistic here. When we pick up points, you've got to enjoy them in the position we're in with the team that we have. I refer back to the bench we had against Tottenham because of 2 injuries we have. It was horrendous. So, yeah, I think we will stick with Farker, but I do want to see more from him going forward, and it means personnel changes like Stack as well. We keep on talking about Strauch. Stack got subbed off, what was it, just after 60 minutes against Tottenham. He shouldn't have started for me. And this is crazy from me, because I thought Stack was going to be one of our linchpins in midfield, but he didn't deserve to start this week. It should have been Tanaka, Longstaff, and Ampadu in that midfield. But he's got to recognize that and look and see the game state, see who we're playing, and go, okay, Tanaka, you're back in. Tanaka in his natural position, by the way. Rockin' Budgie here saying last season we had better and more experienced people in charge of recruitment. Says it all. Absolutely. At Premier League level, your contacts matter as well. You see, with some directors of football, they get to attract players to clubs that players probably wouldn't even thought of going to. But because that director of football or that head coach is there, they will go there. And that happens all the time in football. If they trust somebody there, they will go. And we've seen that already. And we go in with an absolutely new guy who was, underneath the previous recruitment team in various roles. We set ourselves up for failure, especially, and again, this is nothing against Daniel Farker, but with his reputation at the top flight, it was not a good mix in the summer. I was just hoping that the pull of Leeds United in the Premier League would be enough. But as we heard time and time again with players rejecting us, it wasn't enough in the end, was it? Exactly, Chris. I mean, Xhaka would never have thought of Sunderland before this summer. Yeah, and I've said it before with the Xhaka example. He literally didn't. His family did not want to leave Germany. They were very settled there. He calls up a Sunderland teammate and said, "What's going on here? Give me the schools and everything. Otherwise, I can't leave." But I do think if say Sheffield United come up and they had the recruitment team Sunderland had, they had Reggie Lebris, I think you would be at Sheffield United. It's one of those where you go where the project feels comfortable for you. And Granit Xhaka he's been immense in there. Not gonna lie, if you haven't seen him play, that's a consistent midfielder right there. Hyru, yeah. I wonder how different recruitment would have been if we got someone like Thiago Mata. Exactly. It's all ifs and buts now, but with a more respected coach, you get better players. And listen, look, we did spend some money, but a lot of the money at the moment is sitting on the bench. People, we got Biol on the bench, we got James Justin on the bench. We've signed a few players that have bolstered the squad, but didn't move anyone pretty much out the starting 11. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. FV saying here we're not as big league as we think in the league. I disagree, FV. Why I do think we're big league, but our ambition this summer stunk from keeping the manager. And again, they have to make it clear every time. It's nothing against Daniel Farker, but for me, when you go up to the Premier League, if you even had the inkling of changing him the way that they did when they leaked out the story, you do it, and then you never know what kind of player you can attract there. Again, I go back to a player that I was looking at in the summer who's since moved to Como. He's gone to Como because of Cesc Fabregas. He didn't go to Como because of an amazing project there. He's gone there because he believes in Cesc Fabregas and that he'll make him a better player. Martin Bacciarina is the player I'm talking about, by the way. Didn't give the name. That's bad on me. But that's what I'm talking about. Players will go where they respect coaches. Reggie Lebris has got a brilliant reputation around Europe, and you can see that with the players he signed. It all speaks for itself, man. Michael here saying Biol is literally a clone of Creswell. May shave off that quiff, might give him a chat to get noticed. Oh man, Johnny in the house. What's going on, Johnny? We are dry in real life and I'm FIFA. Johnny, you made a great point. And listen, Matt saying here, anyone saying we're not big league hasn't seen the parade video. That's tremendous. Johnny here though was saying about the team and just looking at the team, he can't believe it. And the thing is, I felt that pain through the comment, man. I felt it, Johnny, because I'm with you. When I look at the team, I'm like, have we really recruited this for the Premier League? And this is a great year to survive. You're seeing all the troubles off the pitch West Ham have got. They got protests going all over the place. Forest with Ange, you've got Forest fans calling for his head already. Wolves are in a tricky state right now. There's probably no better time to try and survive. And I would say we've done the bare minimum, people, but I think we did below that. I think that as I've said, we've under-delivered in the transfer market, so we're having to overperform on the pitch, and it's going to take a monumental effort to survive. And I really hope we do it, man. I really hope we do, because I do not want to see championship football again. And this other way of buying deliberately, buying injury-prone players, big gamble. Yeah, we're seeing it, aren't we? Our best player at the minute is Okafor in terms of giving us that X factor. He is having to play himself up to try and finish 90 minutes because you can't do it right now. We see him after like 60, 70 minutes. He starts to tire. And that's where I disagree with some people where they say, keep Okafor on. Guys, sometimes he looks like he can't even move. So we cannot just put him on or leave him on. It's just that the options that we bring on in his place are just not appealing, which is not ideal. But again, that's because we didn't do our business properly in the transfer window. Tim here saying, I think we'll survive, always have, but we'll add with or without Farker. And yeah, Vega, Byram, Kearns, Melier, Harrison, Aronson in Prem 2025. Nidar saying we need a big January in the market, no excuses. Nidar, when do teams ever do big in the January window? And this isn't a criticism to you. This is the reality of it. This is why it was important to get the business done in the summer. So then you only having to tweak it in January rather than look at it and go, well, damn, we've got 4 goalkeepers, 1 left back. Maybe we could do with sorting that out in January. That's not going to happen, is it? Melier will probably leave because they're looking to get, I think, a fee for the remainder of his contract to not allow him to go for free in the summer. But then we're looking at that. We're looking at a creative midfielder. Can we get one of those in? Or will we even utilize a creative midfielder in the system that we have? There's another right winger in case James is out again in the season. I just don't know, Nida. I don't know how big we're going to go. I just don't know. David saying here, Farker said he wants players with the right attitude. That means he wants obedient players and kills creativity or they get dropped. Yeah. And Sam here saying, can we move out Harrison in January? Him being the first guy and grinds my gears. I hear it, Sam, but he's not going anywhere, is he? He really isn't. And Farker, and this is where you do go to Farker on this. You know, he was the one talking up Aronson and Harrison. He had no hesitation. And I remember one press conference where he was asked about Ramazani. He couldn't stop fidgeting. He couldn't stop looking down when he was talking about Largy. When it came to Aronson and Harrison, he was dead, you know, looking in the reporter's eyes saying, these are my guys. These are 2 of the players that I believe in. So those are on him. But then I don't put it on Farker because the 49ers have got to pull the we're the owners card, like a Marinakis kind of thing, and say, listen, we're going to give you these players. We need to move these players on. If you can't work with them, we'll get in somebody that will. And that's for me where they failed a bit as well. Direct saying here, we're going to sign a former England international number 9 called Patrick Bamford. Imagine that, the return of Bamford. Oh my God. Sam, Russell Martin, anyone? Well, speaking of that, because it does kind of concern us, really, a little bit adjacent because, you know, the 49ers do own Rangers. And after yet another poor result for Russell Martin, Rangers parted ways with him. While all transition periods require some time, results have not met the club's expectations. And yeah, they sacked him before the international break. I think Steven Gerrard's been linked with the post. And it's very 49er-ish with the names that have been linked with the Rangers post. Let's just say that. But this kind of goes to something I was talking about earlier in the season where they appointed Russell Martin and the Rangers fans. I mean, listen, you can disagree with the Rangers fans for the way they acted towards him yesterday, but they are making it clear, look, there's only 2 clubs in Scotland. We should be 1 or 2, and we're neither one at right now. And they've got him out by hook or crook. It wasn't working out for Russell Martin because he is a very stubborn coach. I don't think he does himself any favors with some of the things he says publicly. But they have let him go. The 49ers, whichever arm of the 49ers that is, have let him go. So it isn't out of the realm of possibility that if things do start to go south here, which I don't think they are at the minute, people. I know we've got 1 win in 5. I don't think they might be afraid to pull the trigger on Farker as much as I probably thought maybe a month ago. But yeah, it's very interesting that Rangers have got rid of him now with the fan pressure. But I just feel as well, I don't think we do that anymore at Leeds United in terms of the whole hounding out thing. I think the last thing I can remember is when Chilino got chased in the car park. Remember that? I don't think the club is in that kind of state anymore. I think since Bielsa's come in, everything has kind of calmed down now in terms of things like this. I think people are just more accepting of mediocrity, if we're being honest with you. So I don't think we'll ever see that at this, but Rangers have always had this kind of support. So it didn't surprise me with the scenes that we saw after their draw against Falkirk. Jesse Marsh to Rangers next. 49ers looking a bit clueless in Scotland. Yeah, you saw the recruitment thing, and they're kind of having the same problem in Scotland now. Whether the new manager changes that, they've signed quite a few players, but Russell Martin hadn't played them. So the 49ers collectively over Rangers and Leeds must be looking at it going, wait a minute, we spent this money on players. These coaches aren't even using half of them. It must be weird for them to look at it that way. But again, they trust the money people to get things like this done. But yeah, they've moved completely incorrectly in Scotland. They've probably thought, yeah, we'll pick up a Joe Rothwell. He'll probably be worth 20 million after the season's finished in the Scottish Premier League. But you've got to have a bit more of a strategy than that. Sam here, does Farker get another 2 years if we go down? That's an interesting question, Sam. And you're yeah, you're right. Direct. It's again, it's the perception of the club. Rangers generate a lot of money, not as much as other clubs around the world, but they generate a lot of money. And if you're not providing the goods for them, they're well within their rights to complain. Of course they are. Obviously, do it in a humane way. Of course, don't be needing the manager to have police escorts out of the ground, but. Yeah, I completely understand the frustration. But Farker here, Sam asking if Farker gets another 2 years. Well, first of all, would Danny Farker want to do another stint in the championship? That's one question. Because this always comes up when we talk about possibly being relegated. People talk about, well, yeah, we'll have a really good team in the championship. There's no guarantees that quite a few of the players would want to stay in the championship, let alone the manager. We don't know if Danny Farker wants to do the grind of the championship again. Maybe he'll think, you know what, I'm going to leave now, take a sabbatical, maybe wait for a job in Germany, Saudi Arabia or whatever and do something else. You don't know. But I'm saying if we do decide to stick with him because the results we're grinding, but it's just not good enough and he's making changes, that's the caveat for me. If he's continuing just to play out of form players over and over again, I probably want to see a change sooner to see what somebody else could do. Maybe somebody else does go with a two up front. But if we're in games and we're losing because the quality just isn't there in the team, which I understand, who better to take us back up? Who better to take us back up than Daniel Farker? So yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's one of those. Sam saying also adding 8 million on that lad from Everton, second highest player they've signed. I don't know who that is, Sam. Give me the name. I can't remember all their signings names, but yeah, there's a lot of money that is just going wasted up on Rangers. But yeah, one of those. So, and just quickly before we do end, and please, people, even if you've been in the live chat, put your comments and anything that you've thought for what's been said so far, your thoughts on the season so far, things you want to see change going forward in order to try and get the best out of this team that we have and how we can pick up points going forward. I want to see those in the comments, please. Hyru, what's that? If we get relegated, KG wants Danny Roll. Hyru, you mentioned Danny Roll. He's been linked with the Rangers post. So there you go. There was obviously, I'm not going to go too much into this because this it always causes a little bit of division, but obviously there were objects being thrown at some Spurs players on the weekend. I always just say this: control yourselves, people. And there's someone with a big age in the comments here talking about there's no defense for throwing objects, but also other celebrations not inciting a reaction. Maybe the player should be educated or punished by the referee. And I only bring that up because that's come up a few times. Guys, control yourselves. All right, control yourselves, people. Look, Ethan Ampadu was getting mocked or whatever it was by Spurs fans on that side as well. I don't think the Spurs fans said anything bad or threw anything. So they kept it to a certain banter level. And it's the same thing when players go over just to take a corner. Sometimes players are just minding their own business going over to take corners. You got fans in the corner like doing the signs to them and call them this, that, and the other. Players don't react to that. Mohamed Kudus' celebration is sitting on a stool. that is his celebration. And if Kudus was a Leeds player, he'd be celebrating at every other ground doing the same kind of thing. But it's on the fans to control themselves and not act like morons and throw stuff on the pitch. So if the FA do punish Leeds with a fine or anything, the fans have only got themselves to blame. You've got to just control yourself, people. Simple as that. Yeah, I mean, it really is that simple. There's no inciting anything. What we're going to do next? The game is already gone as it is. Are we going to just cancel celebrations now because it's not your team celebrating? Is that what we're going to do? The game. Did you see a tackle by Adam Wharton this weekend that he got a yellow card for? Got the ball, but just got the guy on the follow through, got a yellow card for it. The game is already disappearing, people. So if you want to stop celebrations just because you don't like it, it hurts your feelings, then the game will just go sterile even more than it is now. We're already getting people starting to stop celebrating because they're unsure of whether it's a goal or not because of VAR. The game will be gone if we're going to do this to players just because they're celebrating on our turf. You know what I mean? It's one of those. But yeah, I don't preach. I'm not your papa or nothing like that. But I always say you do what you want, but there will be consequences. So hopefully the FA don't hit us too hard. It won't be points deduction. Don't worry about that. But if we are fined, I'm sure it will give the MD another excuse to say, well, we had a fine that, because of our fans and we couldn't sign anyone in January. Look out for that one if it does happen. Oh man. Oh, FE White though. 200,000 fine incoming. We are Leeds. No, FE White. Just don't throw anything. Okay. Just don't throw anything. It's one of those. But yeah. So yeah, people. I think that will do it for this one. Like I say, give me your thoughts in the comments as well. If you feel with what you've seen so far, if you did think that we're going to get relegated after the window shut because you were a bit disillusioned, do you think that we do have enough to possibly stay up? And if so, how? Let me know in the comments, people. Guys, it's been a good show. Thank you for the interaction in the chat. It's been brilliant. Oh, Hyru coming in on the last second with a super chat. Hyru, hypothetical. If we signed 2 in January, what positions would they be? Oh, Hyru, that's another show. But okay, no. For me, you've got to sell, or I mean, I don't know why they signed Metcha. Why they signed Metcha? Poll results. You're right. I'm not going anywhere, am I? Poll results. I'm not going anywhere yet. I'll get to the poll as well. If we sign 2 in January, it's got to be for me a winger, a right winger, hopefully a left-footed one as well, just to give us something a bit different than what we've currently got in the team. I would say another left back as well in case anything happens to Goodmanson. The thought of Goodmanson or Bogle going out this team is frightening to me. James Justin, I'm sure, will be a capable deputy, but for me, we've got to have a good backup for Goodmanson as well, or competition for Goodmanson, not backup. Don't usually like saying that, but yeah. So probably a left back and an attacking midfielder, but I would say get rid of one of the strikers and get in a real striker. But I don't think that's going to happen, people. Don't think it's going to happen. So yeah, but Hyru's question, that applies to everybody else. Put that in the comments as well. Let me close the poll. Thank you, Annabelle, for that. So let me get the results here. Yeah, they'll come up in about 10 seconds. Don't know what the delay is. Here we go. If you thought we would be relegated after the transfer window closed, 73% say we have a chance to survive. Very optimistic. 21% said nothing has changed. 6% said they thought we'd stay up, but not now after what they've seen. So very interesting, very interested. Haaland, David, I'm still saying Haaland will be coming here 2032 or around that time. I will take it. I will absolutely take it. But guys, let's end it on that one. And as always, if you haven't liked the video already, please do that as well. Share the video around, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.